Thank you both for being here and sharing your story. It will help others and has so far. Mackenzie, child star, you battled addictions at a young age, right? But when you entered celebrity rehab, you were clean at the time.
That's right.
Were you
about 8 months.
Okay, so were you fearing a relapse? How do you enter when you're clean, and why did you?
Well, it really wasn't about. I've been in and out of recovery, and I was clean for 10 years, and you know, had a sort of spectacular relapse. And going into celebrity rehab, I really felt like, you know, it would be very arrogant of me to think I'm done, and that there isn't more to be learned. And I had always admired Drew from afar. We met at the Prism Awards.
A couple times, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I really wanted to get in there and be a part of this. And I also, you know, maybe arrogantly had that feeling that I could be of help to other people.
Yeah,
She was actually very helpful. It's always good to have people at different stages of recovery in the treatment process. And
she was a huge help. She was like really about to take over Dr. Drew's job.
well, to the point where some of the other patients attacked her. Heidi really attacked her.
She really got mad at me. Yeah. It was almost like a teacher's pet situation.
Yes, she was very resentful and stuff. And Mac also has another interesting part of her story, which is the child star story, which is a lot of people want to blame child stardom on addiction. I don't know if we've never talked about this, but it's usually what's going on at home that's the issue, not the childhood stuff.
That's right. I mean, when I did the Disney Channel series So Weird, I was working with kids, and they were from these amazing families who were so supportive. And I'm not saying that all child stars who have addiction problems have nasty families, but I think the incidence of it's pretty high.
It seems to be. Mindy, I want to ask you, by 20 years old, you were a famous country singer. You know, everything seemed to be going right along. And then you had periods of heavy drinking, correct? So what was going on in your life behind the scenes that no one was seeing that was causing this? Onset of drinking.
Really about one bad relationship after another, whether it being a record company relationship or with a man. You know, starting out having a destructive relationship with my parents in my childhood, it kind of just continued on and escalated and got worse and worse. And when there would be some kind of crisis or some kind of painful thing happen to me, you know, it was readily available to go and drink too much. And it's not something that, you know, actually even did anything to ease the pain. It just, you know, made things worse.
Do you still drink, Mindy? Do you still drink?
I occasionally do, socially still have a drink, but...
we talked about how, you know, childhood trauma sort of changes the brain's regulatory system, and so, again, reaching outside of one's body to regulate emotions is sort of the setup for addiction.
And how do you know the difference between, like, an addiction or something that maybe, as Mindy would say, maybe happened once in a while or something?
Consequence. I mean, I have to tell people all the time, some people think I'm some sort of buzzkill. I'm not a buzzkill. I'm not interested in bumming anybody's high. I'm interested in people who lose control of one's health, because that's where, when the consequences, work, school, finance, health, relationships, legal status, that area of your life is affected, and you can't stop. You can't. That's what you need to know.
It's not about how much you use or drink, it's about what happens when you do. It's a very simple way of looking at it.
So would you consider Mindy an alcoholic in denial or a codependent person?
Well, Mindy certainly has codependence. Look, these guys have a lot of codependency stuff, that's for sure. And that's a common thing with women. They can really set up using. In fact, many people come into, whether it's sex addiction or alcoholism and drug addiction, through boundary issues where women sort of take on so much. I mean, this is really, I think, the point today we're going to talk about this. Women take on... I mean, Kate, you know this story. I mean, what women take on is extraordinary, and they take it on automatically. And if you have boundary issues where you just start sucking up everything, you can't manage. You literally shatter.
Sometimes when you can't manage and you feel kind of shattered, that's a time when you might use and abuse drugs or alcohol or anything in your life you want to use as a crutch to help you get through.
When I first came out with my book, My Own Arrival, I used the word consensual, really for want of a better word, and it always sat wrong with me.
Sometimes the addictive traits are codependent.
Thank you.
You want to act them out with another.
Friends and fans and supporters out there for schooling me on the fact that there is no such thing as consensual consent. You may participate, you may cooperate, but you never
drunk or so they say
that is not consensual. No, and I'm not
consensual is something that is different. Consensual often has to do with sex, and sometimes there again, that can be used and abused.
The driving force.
I absolutely, I believe that
well, times are tough for
have a
women.
lot to do with me being the
Well,
relapse, you
times
know,
are
and
tough
after 10 years
for men.
of being clean, and my father
And
passed away, and
sometimes
then
you
slowly
can
but surely
be
I
clean
gradually got
and
back
fine.
into that, trying to regulate my
find
emotions from outside instead of inside, and I really thought after my father died, and God
Could be
bless him,
clean
you know,
for 10
for all his
years,
faults,
like she
you know,
said.
he was a genius musician. We all know there's a fine line between genius and insanity, thank you.
Instead,
But, not always.
you can always find something to learn if you try. The main thing is to never have
Saying in
to
recovery, which is you are as sick as your secrets. Yeah, and that's for sure. When people
or
harbor
addicted
secret issues,
to the things that
After
you
died, I
do.
thought I'd finally
to
free.
feel that
I'd
you
finally
can't
going to be able to
stop.
walk free, and
There's no way out.
I relapsed. And
That's why they come there to doctor
at the conditions of my past that got me to where I.
And I know, let me just say, because when Matt goes on TV and talks about a relationship with her father, people go, how could you still love him? How could you still speak of him in positive terms? And that's actually a healthy thing. That is still her father. There's some horrible things happen between them, but you have to reconcile that she loves her father.
Sure.
She does.
Let me ask you,
And these horrible things
Did
that
you
happen.
ever get in touch with your rage towards your father too? Besides this
Oh,
love part?
absolutely.
Did you not see her hitting that stuff?
Yes,
in the
yes, she did.